Start of the YOTUB narration script. No headings, no robotic tone, spoken like a creepypasta narrator. I don't know who's going to believe me after this. Honestly, I'm not even sure I believe myself. But the audio file is still on my phone. I haven't touched it, haven't edited it, haven't boosted, filtered, or cleaned it. It sits there like a ticking bomb. Rec 1427. WAV, the last thing I ever recorded inside that house on Old Briar Road. I swear to you, that was not a human voice on the tape. But let me start from the beginning. The mistake, my first mistake, was thinking abandoned houses were just empty. Just forgotten wood, cracked windows, and maybe a raccoon or two. I'd filmed dozens of urban exploration videos around Ohio without anything worse happening than stepping on a nail or getting yelled at by a property owner. So when my buddy Brent told me about the house near Groveport, the one locals called the Orchard Place, I didn't hesitate. He said the place used to belong to a family in the early 90s, back before the area grew into strip malls and apartment complexes. The family vanished, literally vanished, one October night in '96. Dinner plates still on the table. Car parked in the driveway. Lights on. They never found a body. People said you could still hear them inside at night. Laughing, crying, whispering. I thought it was all urban legend stuff. Something kids tell each other while walking home from football practice. So yeah, of course I went. It was a stupid dare, honestly. Brent told me to spend 1 hour inside the house and record whatever weird sounds I heard. If I lasted the whole hour, he'd buy me a full tank of gas for the month. I wasn't exactly rich, so free gas was free gas. I grabbed my phone, a cheap LED flashlight, and my little Zoom recorder, the kind podcasters use, and headed out around 11:40 p.m. And now, listening back on it, I know something followed me home that night. Something that wasn't supposed to leave that house. But I'll get to that. When I pulled up to the Orchard Place, the house was half swallowed by trees, like the woods were trying to reclaim it. The driveway was cracked asphalt and weeds thick enough to hide a bicycle. There was no moon, no streetlights, just darkness. It looked like the kind of place kids would dare each other to touch the doorknob. I parked my car across the street, left the engine running, including the heater, because the Ohio November air cuts through you like a blade, and walked across the road. The first thing I noticed was that the house wasn't just old, it was quiet. Not the normal quiet of a late night. No bugs, no leaves rustling, no wind, just nothing. Like the whole area was holding its breath. I raised the recorder and pressed record. "This is Tyler," I whispered. Time is 11:57 p.m. Entering the Orchard Place, staying for 1 hour. You can actually hear my voice cracking in the recording. I pushed open the front door. It groaned like something waking up. Inside, the air felt stale, thick, like the house had been sealed for decades. Wallpaper peeled off in strips. immediately saw something that made my skin tighten. The furniture was still there. Not new, not pristine, but arranged, like someone had left just yesterday. A TV sat in the corner with one of those wooden frames, the kind from the early 90s. A bowl of what might have been fruit was still on the dining table, except the fruit was now a pile of dusty, black husks. I felt watched. That's the only way to describe it. But I kept moving deeper in. 30 minutes. That's all I had to last. I walked down the hallway and into what looked like a kid's bedroom. Pink walls, stuffed animals, a tiny wooden dresser. My flashlight landed on something that didn't belong there. Little handprints on the mirror. Fresh, smudged, like someone had touched it minutes earlier. I leaned closer, telling myself they were my imagination, maybe dust patterns. But then I heard it. The first sound, a soft thump somewhere upstairs. Not like wood settling, not like an animal, more like a footstep. Heavy, slow. I froze. The recorder was still running in my hand. And if you listen to the file, you can hear the exact moment my breath catches. I whispered, "Hello." Nothing. Another thump. Then a dragging sound, like something being pulled across carpet. I backed up toward the hallway, flashlight trembling in my hand. "Brent, you're a dead man," I muttered, thinking maybe he had snuck in to scare me. But then the recorder picked up something. A voice, a low, breathy whisper. A woman's voice, soft enough that I didn't hear it in the moment, but the recorder did. It said, "Don't go upstairs." I didn't hear it until later. But right then, I felt something. Like the air shifted, like the pressure changed. Ears popping, hair rising on my arms. I should have left. I know that now. But the clock on my phone said only 9 minutes had passed. And pride is stronger than fear until it is. So I walked toward the stairs. Each step creaked under me. The sound echoing like the house was whispering back. When I reached the top, I saw something I'll never forget. All the doors were open, except one. The last door on the left was closed, but something heavy scraped behind it. Slow, rhythmic, like someone rocking back and forth on the floor. I raised my recorder and whispered, "Is someone in there?" The scraping stopped. Silence. Then, a knock. One single knock from the inside of that door. I nearly bolted, but then the door handle jiggled. Not violently, gently, slowly, like someone testing it from the other side. I didn't speak, didn't breathe. And then a child's voice said, "Mommy." I'm not exaggerating. I'm not embellishing. It was a little girl's voice, soft, scared, calling for her mother. Right behind that door, I lowered my flashlight. My hand was shaking so badly, the beam jittered across the walls. Something inside me, some instinct, told me to run. But another part of me, the part that didn't want Brent calling me a coward for the next 10 years, that part made me reach for the doorknob. I turned it slowly. The door clicked, completely. No furniture, no toys, nothing. Just cold wooden floorboards and peeling wallpaper. But the room smelled wrong. Like old perfume, like something sweet and rotten. Then the recorder captured something. A soft inhale behind me, like someone standing inches from the back of my neck. I spun around, flashlight shaking. No one was there, but the door, the one I had just opened, it started slowly swinging closed. On its own. I grabbed it before it shut completely. I didn't want to be trapped inside. My heart was hammering so loudly I could barely hear, but the recorder heard everything, including the whisper, "Stay." That was when I finally lost it. I ran. I didn't even try to be quiet. I barreled down the stairs, vaulted over one of the broken floorboards, sprinted toward the front door. But the house wasn't done with me, because just as I reached the threshold, something slammed the door shut. Hard. I crashed into it. The recorder slipped from my hand and clattered to the floor. I scrambled for the handle, yanking it over and over, but it wouldn't budge. And that's when the footsteps started behind me, slow, heavy, coming down the stairs, one step at a time. Creak, creak, creak. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I just pressed my forehead to the door and prayed. The footsteps stopped right behind me. Silence. Then a voice right at my ear whispered, "You shouldn't have come here." The door flew open. I fell onto the porch steps and rolled into the dead grass. I scrambled to my feet and sprinted toward my car, leaving the recorder behind. I didn't stop until I was back in the driver's seat with all the doors locked. But when I glanced back at the house, the upstairs window, the one above that empty room, had someone standing in it, a silhouette still watching me. And the worst part, it raised its hand and waved. That's where I should end the story. That's where most people would end it. But that's not the end, because an hour later, after I got home, after I sat in my bed, trying to convince myself nothing followed me, my phone vibrated. A notification. New audio file saved. Rec 1427. WAV. Timestamped 12:41 a.m. The exact time I was in my car. The recording was taken after I left the house, and the first sound in the file is my bedroom door opening.